It is season 3, episode is it 8? Oh my God, it's episode 8 of the Hall of Fame show.
The Cam Neely episode.
The Cam Neely episode, and not just that, it is the last episode where Evan and I are in different countries, sort of.
I think we're going from 2 countries on the same continent to 2 countries on the same continent. We're in different time zones. We'll be in the same one.
Well, I'm actually pumped to be in the same time zone. So I am moving from Barbados to Winnipeg.
That's it! Back to Winnipeg!
Yes, I'm doing that on purpose because my wife got a very good promotion and I do this. So yes. It really doesn't matter where I go.
You're a kept man. It's okay.
I am a kept man, and I will now be in the same central time zone as Evan. So I'm not going to be doing this a lot of the shows. So as I have been many times. So this is a kind of special show unless my PCR test comes back positive and I got to stay here another 2 weeks.
Well, but as you said before the show, the only person I'm sure will be in Winnipeg next week is Jasper. So
Jasper, my dog, has been permitted to go already. The amount of work I had to go through to get my damn corgi through there, I don't even want to go through. It's been a lot. It's been heavy, but
you just showed on the Instagram page, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you know what? That's enough."
Follow him on Jasper _ the friendly corgi. He's actually he's done better than some of what you and I have been working on. But anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah. No, he's a corgi. He's cute. You've seen him.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. He's actually right here by my side. But anyway, so it's not as busy a show because we cover Hall of Fame related stuff. But
we've had some very busy weeks here recently. So
we have, and a lot of what we do also too, when we have not so busy weeks, we add segments. One was Kirk Shitbox, which is now morphed into the smorgasbord of shit.
Correct. Because
sometimes I don't know what I'm going to say. My elevator up, elevator down, my other regular segment isn't going to be very big, but I've got a big smorgasbord again. Can I jump into the smorgasbord?
I don't think there's any other way to approach a smorgasbord, really. Okay, so do you remember? I didn't tell you what I was going to talk about. You just know it's a yeah. I know what your elevator up and down is, at least the category. I know nothing about the smorgasbord.
Yeah. This week. All right. So because it won't go there, or it won't sort of. I don't know what your things are either, but I gave you mine, so obviously they're not going to overlap. So yeah, all right. So I was looking at. Do you remember if a couple months ago I was really pissed off on a shit article that somebody wrote about how the Baseball Hall of Fame really is kind of racist because they don't have any Asians.
They don't have any Asians. Yes, I do remember this.
Which doesn't make them racist because here's my article. If I were to write that is the Baseball Hall of Fame does not have any Asians in the Hall of Fame because none have qualified yet until Ichiro Suzuki. End of article.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I came up through something because I look through lots of different news sources every day and I saw something on CNN. And for the record, because we're so polarized, just because I'm going to shit on a CNN article, don't go thinking that I'm some right-wing libtard, or not libtard, whatever.
Right-wing libtard is exactly what everyone thinks you are.
That might be it. Okay. But I just want to point, I will shit on anybody if I think it's crap.
You are an equal opportunity defecator. I agree.
Ooh, I like that. All right. So let me bring out this one thing here. I should have sent you this article because I didn't. I thought I was going to be home earlier and I wasn't. It's by a lady named Amy Woodyat, whose article, when she put that on her Twitter, got 1 retweet. Well, you're going to get a second one later on where I shit on you. The Winter Olympics don't really represent the world. I agree with that. Cost, climate, and quota keep the majority off the podium. Okay. But let's just be blunt. It's climate into a second degree cost. So Amy came up with a few representatives of all of these oppressed people in all these countries who don't have an opportunity.
Okay.
All right. Here, let me tell you about the.
You're saying it's tough to be on the Chadian cross country team because you're in the middle of Sahara Desert for the whole time.
Well, I would agree with that. I would totally agree with that. And if that's where she was going with this, sure. And that's kind of what she implies. Now, the first sentence, at 38, Benjamin Alexander became Jamaica's first ever alpine skier to compete in the Winter Olympics, just 6 years after he first strapped on skis. Quote, being the only Black representative in the group, even though I am only half Black and being of Jamaican heritage, people kept throwing jokes sideways about cool runnings. All right. Where's Benjamin really from?
New York, I'm guessing.
London.
California.
London.
Okay.
London. Benjamin is not from Jamaica. He's of Jamaican heritage. Figured out at 32, because he's a rich DJ, that shit, I'm pretty good at this. I've got a loophole to be an Olympian. And that's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
So do not tell me about all this stuff about how hard it is for a Jamaican athlete struggling to get into the Winter Olympics, because there aren't any. There's more. But wait, there's more. All right. Let me tell you about another person here. Where's this person that they mentioned? I got home late. I'm not as prepped as I'd like to be.
And by prep, do you mean inebriated?
No, I'm actually, I've been drinking a lot all day and I'm actually feeling pretty damn good. All right. Oh, Nigeria's Simidele Adigabo. I apologize for pronouncing her name wrong. So she became the first person from Nigeria to represent that country in the skeleton. Where is she from?
Also London?
No.
The US somewhere.
Toronto. That's where she was born. She represented the University of Kentucky in track and field, and then realized later that as good as she was as an athlete, she wasn't going to be good enough to make the Olympics. But there's a loophole. I can do this. Can't make the Canadian team, but I can do this.
I will say this on your rant. This has been going on in other sports for decades.
Yes, it has.
Particularly soccer. There's always questions as to what countries various people are going to play for. Like the U.S. national men's team, we have Aronson had a chance to choose between Iceland and the U.S. He chose the U.S. because he thought he'd have a chance to play in bigger tournaments.
Right.
We have Ricardo Pepi, who grew up in the United States, but had a choice to play between Mexico and the U.S. He played Mexico juniors and then played for the U.S. seniors. Right? This happens all over the place. Like France's national team is made up of all sorts of people not from France.
Well, yeah, it goes both ways.
Right. And there are a lot of, I mean, the reason that the Netherlands is good at baseball is they're all from Aruba. So,
absolutely.
So I mean,
it started on Team Italy.
Sports, so yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
Don't get me started on Team Italy in the World Cup of baseball.
Oh yeah.
And I will eventually.
Or Team Israel.
Well, there's another one here. I'm not going to go any further, but it's the same type of idea. Akwasi Frimpong of Ghana, who at least was born in Ghana, raised in the Netherlands, competing in skeleton, but do not present this article as 3 like represented people of color. Yeah, you got the people of color right. There were 3 privileged individuals who figured out a loophole to become Olympians. That's what they did. And this is not limited to people of color, because I've seen this happen on Team Zimbabwe. You know, so I want to make that fucking clear. You know, because this is fucking, and this is bullshit. Now, you are an expert in Burkina Faso. Now, for people who are just
100%.
Yeah, and for people who are thinking like I'm being sarcastic, I'm not. He is.
Burkina Faso is what got me my wife.
Yes, it is. It is. Listen back. This is totally true. living here in Barbados for the last 3 years and meeting a lot of athletes, one that you've become a semi-acquainted with, Celia Collmore, who's part of our group in the U.S. Hall of Fame, who played college basketball at Pace University, and the best team they ever had. The men and women here do not care about these sports. They did not grow up thinking, damn, I wish I could be in the skeleton. I wish I could be in the luge. This didn't happen. Do not fucking write an article about this shit when this isn't true. And you didn't mention that all these people were not born or not representing in these countries. That's all I want to say. I'm just pissed off on, I hate racism. I hate fake racism even more. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had the same, I think I've told you before, I've had the same feeling about, I'm still mad about a Ken Rosenthal article from over a decade ago when.
Oh, okay. What's that? I don't think we've talked about it.
He was accusing the Red Sox of not having any players of color on their team at the time, and David Ortiz didn't count.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Okay. We did. Yes. This did.
And neither did Jacoby Ellsbury at the time, who was the only Navajo in the entire.
Oh, I didn't even know that he was.
Yeah, he's mostly Native American. Jacoby
Okay.
Ellsbury.
Oh.
So my question then is the rest of the league, like, it's just using his own thing, is the rest of the league then for racist against Native Americans? Like the whole thing was dumb. He had to pick and choose so much. I understand Boston's racist history, but like one time period where their best player is Afro-Caribbean, certainly, and like is somehow a statement that they don't care. And they had a couple other Latino people on their team, but they didn't have any black players.
Yeah. And
so the Latinos didn't count, and therefore, because a league that's what at that point was 7-8% African American, the team didn't happen to have one. It was an indictment. That was because the city of Boston hates black people.
Not anymore. You can't say that now. Now, although this article did say one thing, I should check to see if this is actually true because they left out some facts. Here's a trivia question. If this article is true, who is the first black man to win an Olympic gold medal in the Winter Olympics? If this is true.
Don't know.
Jerome McGinley.
Oh, interesting. Well, Grant Fuhr didn't win one?
No, you wouldn't have because the NHLers weren't playing then.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So even as a junior, he didn't win one though.
Yeah, because Canada never won shit.
Okay.
For forever. Yeah. I mean, I'm not positive.
Jerome McGinley, that's interesting.
Yeah. If this is true, because I'm.
If you found it on the internet, it's true. People can't lie on the internet.
Oh no, of course not.
You know, I saw that.
My website?
On the internet.
Okay, yeah. All right, so that's Smorgasbord Part 1. I got multiple parts.
Oh, we got a second part.
The second part is I talked to Andrea and Brad. Here's my promotion. Andrea and Brad and I, we do how the hell did this go number 1? And Andrea and Brad and I we're in a bet with Evan. We think we won this bet.
I think you may have, except I don't remember it.
Okay, well, I don't either, and I can't be bothered actually.
I know that Team Canada made it. Team US won the group in men's hockey, but they were eliminated
the same round.
Yeah, so that's
a push. It's a push. Canada won in women's hockey. US had more gold, but Canada had more medals. That's 2-1. So.
Fair. Okay.
In 2 weeks from now, when I return back, because we're not going to do a show next Tuesday, we're going to be looking at the next song. Andrea picked this one. It's actually a good song. Mac the Knife.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to join us? But you have to open by singing "Oh Canada."
Fine. You want it in English or French? I could really butcher it in French.
You could probably butcher it in English too.
That's probably true. Although I know that is in English.
All right, but so yeah, that is our invitation. So we think we've won this.
What day is this?
That would be on our we do this on Tuesdays.
Tuesday. I have karate for the kids, but I probably can figure that out.
All right.
Particularly if we're not doing something Thursday. So.
All righty. So just throwing that out there. I think that.
Okay. And
I never beat.
I love Mac the Knife.
And the reason I'm pushing this is I never beat Evan in anything. So this is my Appalachian State over Michigan.
Wow. And you know how much Michigan hates to lose. That'll come up later.
Oh, okay, nice. So here's part 3 of the smorgasbord of shit. It's a good thing. Kind of, sort of. Tying up with this whole racial division stuff. Now, I've talked before about I'm really done with the WWE. Kind of, sort of.
Yeah, you have said that.
Yeah, I'm not that interested, but I did watch this weekend Elimination Chamber, which is in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
And obviously the WWE made a deal with the devil. I'm not going to go in all political. There's enough political shit in the world. And there's other shows that can talk about that.
Is there something going on in the world that we haven't discussed yet?
Well, that we haven't discussed, but
Yeah, continue.
yeah. Either way, the WWE sort of like made it say, well, you know, we're really sort of advancing women's causes, blah, blah, blah. But they were not allowed to have a women's match the first time they sort of had this deal. And then they eventually had one. Now, granted, they're covered from pretty much neck to toe, but whatever. You're still there. It's still something. On the Elimination Chamber, they actually had 3 women's matches, one of which being in a women's Elimination Chamber match. The crowd was going nuts at the right time. And it reminds me that as much as I might think that the country of Saudi Arabia has a lot of backward bullshit from the politics, and I've ragged on China a lot, and I still will. Let's all remember, this doesn't necessarily mean that the people of those countries feel that way. And that you as an American, I'm sure you've traveled and people have said like, well, your country's awful before they even got to know you.
I remember being in Argentina in 1999, and they were worried about the U.S. election because they said if a Republican got elected, they were wondering what country we were going to invade. They just presumed, and then Bush got elected, and then we were in a war for separate reasons. But yeah.
Sure, but I mean, like people make assumptions on our nationality.
100%.
And watching that, as much as I don't really want to be a WWE apologist for that deal they made, oh shit, you know, they were cheering at the right time. They were going nuts for Bill Goldberg. Pretty sure that means he's Jewish. Could be wrong, but I'm not. And in a weird way, and I can't believe I'm saying this, it gave me a bit of a hope for humanity. I'm trying to find some good in things as much as I'm ripping on some shit article. I'm trying to be balanced here, Evan. I'm not great at it.
I appreciate that. So, and it actually transitions pretty well to one piece of news we didn't actually talk about last week. They announced the first member of the WWE Hall of Fame this year.
Oh, that's right, The Undertaker. Well, no, I don't think that was announced when we we recorded.
I think I found out Wednesday night. So, because I
might have missed that. Yes.
Maybe I found it after that, but I thought it was Wednesday night.
The Undertaker. He was ranked number 2 on the WWE list that I have. Huge. He's from Texas. He's from Houston, I believe, and this is going to be in Dallas. This is about as big a headliner as you get forever. Like for this, just. Great guy, great wrestler.
Literally nobody can complain about this.
I'm sure if they can, I don't want to hear it. They don't know what they're talking about.
And if they do, you don't want the Undertaker to hear it.
Rest in peace. Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. Maybe before we go into sort of those we lost, I wanted to make sure that we talked about Paul O'Neill.
Oh yeah, we have a couple of numbers getting retired this week or this time.
Yeah, and I like Paul O'Neill. I found it a little strange.
I hate Paul O'Neill, so it's probably
really okay. I didn't know that.
I mean, as a Red Sox fan, Paul O'Neill was the once Paul O'Neill left the Yankees, it was much harder to hate them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, then you're left with like Mariano Rivera and Derek Jeter, and like those are 2 people who are very hard to hate. You had A-Rod. A-Rod was easy to hate. But like losing Paul O'Neill brought your level of hatred down quite a bit. So
J-Lo hated him so much he went back to Ben.
I saw something this week that said,
Was there a good meme?
something this week that said since 1996, J-Lo 5 rings, Cowboys 0.
Wow. I love that. I've also said too, the Kardashian curse might exist, but for one magical year, Reggie Bush,
Yeah, there you go.
and the same year, Lamar Odom.
True.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to Paul O'Neill.
Does he feel like he belongs in this group of 23? Yeah, me either. I like Paul O'Neill, obviously more than you, but this to me just feels like, I don't know what it feels like. I mean, it feels like something they didn't have to do.
Think of those Yankees teams, right? Like, I mean, I hated Paul O'Neill, but just think of those Yankees teams. It'd be like the Red Sox essentially retiring Kevin Youkilis's number to me. Like, I love Kevin Youkilis. I know Yankees fans hated Kevin Youkilis, but I loved Kevin Youkilis, but there's no way we would ever retire his number, right? I think Paul O'Neill is better than Kevin Youkilis. I'm not going to say that.
Right.
But like, I mean, even those Yankees teams, who do you think of first? You think
Peter Rivera,
then Posada, probably.
Posada, even him though, to me is a little
right. But again, he's more part of this. Bernie Williams is more part of this.
I agree. Yeah.
Bernie Williams is certainly a better guitar player. And then we're not even getting to the rest of pitchers. I mean, I think David Wells is more a part of it than Paul O'Neill.
I hear you.
Clemens, Mussina, Pettit, like they're just.
I'm blanking. Does Messina have it? No, he doesn't have his number retired by the Yankees, does he?
He does by the Orioles, I think. I think the Orioles have done it.
I know he's in Monument Park.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
So okay,
right?
so I wasn't the only one who thought that. Okay.
Yeah, that's strange. The other one that we have is actually a team retiring their first ever jersey. The Nashville Predators are retiring Pecorini's jersey.
Love it.
Tonight, actually.
Love it.
So
is that why you're wearing the mustard color?
No, this is just my favorite color.
Oh.
I wear orange all the time. This isn't mustard. This is orange. That's fluorescent orange.
Whatever. I'm old and blind.
Yeah. By the way, this color behind me was supposed to be the color of the Namibian sand dunes that my wife saw in something because she's in travel. The color that she actually wanted to pick was Oriole orange. And I'm like, I'm a Red Sox fan. We're changing the shade one way or another. So she's annoyed because this is just off the Namibian sand dune color of the wall behind.
How are the two of you not hosting a show on National Geographic?
Because we're way too interesting. If you have to, like, Rick Steves and all those people are the most boring people in the planet.
Okay, I've actually never seen
Samantha Brown, Rick Steves, like all those people who travel anywhere. Like the only one who's good who traveled anywhere is Anthony Bourdain, and he unfortunately left us. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he unfortunately decided he wanted to leave us, but like,
well, that's another story.
All of those shows are terribly boring people.
I've actually never seen a National Geographic show, so I don't.
Yeah. But anyway, well, actually, one of my friends, not just my friends, my former roommate in college, my freshman sophomore year, is a producer at National Geographic now. So
I think you've told me that.
Yeah.
Amazing how much we know about each other, and we've never met.
That is true. Yeah. So anyway, this is going to be the first number retired by the Nashville Predators. And we always say that you need to be around for 25 years to have like a Hall of Fame. But the Predators have been around now since what, 98?
98.
Something like that.
98.
So coming up. Yeah, we're coming up literally year 24. I'm 100% fine with this.
Yeah. And I was very critical. I think it was not that long ago when I was super pissed off that people were so happy. Like Seattle, the Kraken already retired something for, what was it?
It's like the fans.
Yeah, something dumb, which made no sense. I mean, the Wild did that too. Yeah, especially too, like, you don't even know if your fans are any good. Or if they suck.
Speaking of the Wild for a second, I actually was in Minneapolis last weekend at the Mall of America.
Yeah, that's right. How was that?
And there it was good. I would say there are a lot of team jerseys there.
Mhm.
I would say the ranking of team jerseys there in terms of number that I saw, the Wild were number one by far.
Really?
Yeah. Then the University of Minnesota,
Mhm.
then the Twins, then the Vikings. And I saw no Timberwolves stuff except in stores.
Was there like for Kaprasov or like anyone specific or just
No, they had like the cool, sweaters with the
Okay,
lacy
yeah.
up top. There are a lot of people wearing those.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if I didn't notice any names on the back of the jerseys as much as I was just noticing gear more than anything. But I would say Wild 1, University of Minnesota 2, big
Interesting.
gap, Twins 3, small gap, Vikings 4, and then I literally saw nobody wearing any Timberwolves stuff.
Vikings surprises me.
Yeah, well, they just all be tired of Kirk Cousins. Right now, they're trying to talk themselves into what's his name, who was with the Carolina this year, with the Jets before. I can think of his name. Whatever. They're trying to talk themselves into a much worse quarterback than Kirk Cousins. So
Yeah, we got months to talk about that shit.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that kind of I'm trying to think, was there something else I wanted to sort of like bring up here? No, I think that sort of like covers off the first the first stanza. Very Shakespearean.
Very, very fancy.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go to our death rattle, I suppose.
Hoorah, hoorah.
So again, one a week. The beige mistress has gotten a Hungarian figure skater, Gabor Vida, who competed in the Paris event at the 1952 Olympics, passed away at the age of 92. So there you go. We had a lot of people pass away this week. Some decent sized names. But let's start in baseball. The only big person in baseball passed away, I guess sort of big, was the Julio Cruz, one of the original Mariners.
Oh shit, I missed that. Did he?
Yeah, passed away at the age of 67. So he's inducted the Hispanic Heritage Baseball Museum on Hall of Fame, and was broadcaster for the Mariners. I don't see what he passed away from, but he's with the Mariners from their inaugural year of 77 through 83, and finished his career with the White Sox from 83 to 86.
Decent infielder, if I remember right. Pretty good base stealer.
He was, stole 40 bases from 78 to 83. He was the all-time franchise leader in stolen bases until some guy named Ichiro Suzuki passed him.
Yeah, I heard of him.
Yeah. But Julio Cruz was 67.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
From the world of football, we lost Clarence Pooh Bear Williams passed away, who was a great running back for Florida State. Unfortunately, got injured and only got to play very briefly 2 games for the Bills in 1998. But he had the 7th highest rushing total in the history of Florida football with 5,090 yards.
It's a lot.
That is a lot. But yeah, he went undrafted because he got injured, and played for them just in 98. But he unfortunately passed away in a car crash at the age of 47. Also today we lost Ken Burrow, 2-time Pro Bowler he's a Pro Bowler with the Oilers. He also played for the Saints for 1 year. Wide receiver, 421 receptions and 49 touchdowns in his career. He's drafted 10th overall by the Saints in 1970, and before he got traded to the Oilers, where he played there for 11 seasons. He passed away. He's a member of the Black College Football Hall of Fame, where he was elected in 2016. Passed away at the age of 73 earlier this morning. We also lost 2-time AFL champion, quarterback, punter, and defensive back, which is hard to do, all 3 in the AFL, Charlie Milstead passed away. Played the Oilers for only 2 years, but won the AFL championship both of those years. So he passed away earlier at the age of 84. And I guess I'll go with the big name out of there now. Our biggest name would pass this week. I usually save it for the end, but since we're in football, I might as well just go. Football Hall of Famer Charlie Taylor passed away. One of the toughest wide receivers ever. I was watching after he passed. You know, after someone passes, you watch the highlight films.
Right.
Charlie Taylor could have played in any freaking era. That dude, he was 6'1", 210, and impossible to take down. Played for Arizona State in college, selected by the Redskins in the first round of the 64 draft. Made the playoffs 5 times and made the Super Bowl in 72, where they might have lost to a team that pops champagne every year. He was 6-time All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler, and elected in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in his second year of eligibility in 1984. So, also NFL Rookie of the Year in 64. So, by the way, it now says that it says on Wikipedia that he's one of the 80 greatest Redskins, but that he's in the Washington Commanders Ring of Fame.
All right.
So I also led the NFL receptions in 66 and 67. So
I hate that name.
Here's the thing. We hate all the names. Like if you honestly imagine you gave a new baseball team to Chicago right now and they're like, we're going to name it the Cubs. Like how much would that get mocked?
I love the Kraken.
Oh, the Kraken's a great name, but like, I think a lot of names, like imagine the Red Sox or the White Sox without the other team existing.
That's very true. Well, I hate those names too. Those names, as a kid, I thought those were the dumbest names.
Yeah. So, I mean,
still do.
Yeah, but I the Commanders are probably worse than most. I thought the Nationals were dumb at the time.
I guess just the Washington football team grew on me.
Fair enough. Well, you'll have time for the commies to grow on you too. I mean, Commanders to grow on you too. Wow.
All right, not touching that. Move on.
So,
although I understand that my Prime Minister Justin Trudeau likes that name.
He does.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
We lost another Hall
I'm not going anymore.
We lost another Hall of Famer in motorsports, member of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Roger Rager passed away at the age of 70. What year was he born? 73. Driver on the USAC in the Kart Championship Car Series. Competed from 76 through 83, won a whole bunch of races. But yeah, he passed away earlier this week at 73. From the world of, is it? Well, I guess we'll just stick with the world of music here. We lost. Let's start with Mark Lanigan, or I think it's Lanigan, right? Passed away at the age of 57.
Screaming Trees.
It's correct. Screaming Trees, Stone Age, a few others. Battled drugs and alcoholism throughout his life. He had a near-death experience with COVID back in 2021, which he survived, but he died suddenly earlier this week at the age of 57. You have any Mark Lanigan stories?
Not really. I just I think like a lot of people my age, we might have remember him mostly from a song from the Single soundtrack. I nearly lost you. Like that was a movie that was it's a decent reflection of that era, but also not really, if that makes sense. But it did, like, for me at that point in time, I wasn't aware of that band. I did buy an album. I really enjoyed it. So that's really all I can say on that. You know, with the Screaming Trees, just a decent band from a great musical city at that time.
Right.
I don't know what Seattle is doing musically now,
There's some good bands coming out of Seattle.
I'm sure they are, but I mean, it's not like Seattle's the be all and end all, like for.
Oh yeah, well, I
tier
mean,
it was.
it's almost impossible for any city to be like Detroit had its moment, New Orleans had its moment,
Mhm.
and Seattle's had its moment. But like,
Yep.
it's almost impossible. That happens once every 20 years.
Well, even
So-
now, if you with the internet and everything, like localized scenes just seem to be harder and harder to come by.
True.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm glad to be proven wrong.
We'll see. So anyway, he passed away at the age of 57. Also lost Dallas Good from the Sadies from Toronto, country western rock and roll band from Toronto.
Mhm.
Dallas Good died of a recently detected heart condition only at the age of 48.
Yeah, I read that on
Sucks.
CBC this week. Yeah.
Yeah. So also with the Good brothers, he and his brother. But yeah, only 48's, as I think we both agree, way too young to go.
My friend of mine, who I might have as a special guest, so I should ask him to be on this. He's actually teaching in Japan right now. He drummed for them briefly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or did he drum for them, or did he appear in a band that opened for them? Yeah, I gotta ask him. But yeah.
Okay. We also lost from the Blockheads, as in the backup band to Ian Drury, Derek Hussey.
Sorry. Sex and drugs and rock and roll. Wah, 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 wah. Sorry.
That is correct.
Mm.
So Derek Hussey passed away at the age of, hold on a second. Oops. He passed away at the age of, I can't say. He basically took over as the lead singer for when Ian Dury left. I don't actually have how old he passed away at. But yeah, he passed away earlier this week. Also lost blues and pop blues jazz singer Ernie Andrews passed away at the age of 94. One of the big guys from the early jazz era coming out of Los Angeles. He originally started in Philly, but moved to LA. Just for, if you know jazz from the early era, Ernie Andrews is one of the bigger singers. But he lived to 94, so good for him. That's a good long time.
Mhm.
Also lost Sam Henry this week. He drummer best known for his work with the Wipers.
I
Passed
missed
away.
those.
Yeah, he passed away at the age of 66. He's a member of the Oregon Music Hall of Fame. But yeah, he also played with the Rats and a few others. So yeah, he passed away earlier this week. And I guess the biggest name out of music who passed away just a couple days ago was Gary Brooker. Passed away, the lead singer of Procol Harum. And the writer of Wider Shade of Pale, which the band was nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but the song officially was put in by that fake category that little Stevie came up with. I don't know. But he passed away at the age of 76.
That's the shit where the Rock Hall becomes a bit of a joke, is because when you and I first started corresponding, God, I don't know how many years ago now, you and I think we can agree that the inductions have gotten a hell of a lot better.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
But the transparency is just as shitty as it's always been.
It's very marginally better. I'll say very marginally, because at least we know several members of the nominating committee.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, the whole thing is just so weird. For future rock legends, right? What they did recently, they're trying to mimic, and I appreciate the idea of what Not Mr. Tibbs does.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's the point? You don't even know how many people there are.
Right.
And it's pointless, and good on them for trying, but it is the literal definition of a fruitless endeavor. I won't bother doing it. I didn't bother. I thought about doing that for other things, but why should I do it for this? good on you for trying, but you're wasting your time.
You just made me think of the old "Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego" DOS computer game, where you went to the wrong city and it would say your search is fruitless except for the banana peel you slip on.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, good on them for that, but and I think someone in one of our groups said, like, this is great. No, it isn't. It is useless,
Yeah, that is true.
worthless. And but again, hey, if you want to do it, I won't.
Right. So, also passing away from the world of hockey, Hockey Hall of Famer in the Builder category, Emile Francis passed away at the age of 95. Played for the Blackhawks and Rangers as a goaltender, but much better known for his work as a coach and as an executive. So, and yeah, two of his kids actually also went on to coach. So, anyway. And then, of course, from the world in general, we lost the amazing Jonathan, the comedian magician.
Really?
Passed away at the age of 63 a couple days ago.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he died in his sleep at the age of 63. He had all sorts of issues. So with cardiomyopathy, he had to retire for a while.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I guess his heart finally gave out. We also lost one of the great film editors, David Brenner, passed away. He was one of Oliver Stone's hot shot group of up-and-coming film editors. He won an Oscar at the age of 27 for his work on Born on the 4th of July, but he passed away at the age of 59. We lost Dale Critchlow from Napoleon Dynamite.
Who's that?
Passed away at the age of 92. Remember Lyle? That old guy with the gun?
I haven't seen that. I've only saw that once. I gotta watch that again.
Well, he
Yes.
only acted two things, but him as Lyle was hilarious. He passed away at the age of 92. And I guess the biggest name from the world at large, Sally Kellerman, passed away earlier today. The original Hot Lips Houlihan from MASH.
Yes. For me, I remember her as Rodney Dangerfield's muse in Back to School.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also was in the Twilight Zone, the Outer Limits, Star Trek, and Bonanza, but she was also in Last of the Red Hot Lovers as well, which is a
saw that.
Kind of culty-ish film from 1972. So yeah, she died of complications from dementia. So
it's awful to hear.
Yeah, I was amazed how much of that cast from 1970 is still alive, though. I went and looked for MASH.
Let's see. Well, Gary Berghoff's still alive because he was in the movie.
Yep.
Elliot Gould's still alive. Donald Sutherland, Tom Skerritt.
Yep.
But Court's still alive, no?
Yep. Yeah, the only other, I guess, major character who's passed away is Rene Auberjonois, who was Father Mulcahy.
I didn't even know that he died.
A few years ago.
The guy who played the Colonel, I don't even know who that is.
Oh, Colonel Blake, that guy passed away a long time ago.
Okay, yeah.
He was a writer. I can't think of his name. He was actually an author, and that was like his only really acting thing. I can't think of his name.
Okay, yeah. I guess that's why I didn't really know.
Yeah.
Shit,
So
I guess the three big ones are still alive. Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my list.
All right. So my
and of course, Lieutenant Dish is still alive too. So.
And you could sort of like win a date with Lieutenant Dish on this. This only means something for MASH fans. But anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Go ahead, keep going.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, this is going to be pretty quick. So your hammer is going to have to do most of the work here at the end. So my section of elevator up, elevator down, those who in the last week or so have made a better case for their Hall of Fame, or those who didn't. I don't have an elevator down because nothing's really going on right now in terms.
Just
oh,
quick
you've
question.
got something. Okay.
How about Kemba Walker having to be shut down for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I've already set him as an elevator down. I thought about using him there. I think he's already done. He's elevator broken. I was going to bring him up, but you and I have talked about him a few times. You've said it accurately some time ago that he just is only capable of bursts, and the bursts are fewer and far between.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and I really loved watching him play in Charlotte, but he's just not the same guy. My elevator up is going back to wrestling. I won't go into too much of this, but are you familiar with All Elite Wrestling?
No.
Okay, that's pretty much a startup company run by Tony Khan, who is the son of the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Shotgun.
So, yeah. So that company is a startup. They now have CM Punk. They have Daniel Bryan, now Bryan Danielson. So the ratings wise, they're doing reasonably well. But one of the guys who started it was Cody Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes' son.
Yeah.
He quit, or is more accurately, they didn't renew his contract.
Okay.
He is now probably the first big free agent that the WWE looks like they're going to get back. If they make a big name out of his return and whatnot, he is now elevator up for the WWE Hall of Fame.
Fair enough.
It's a weak one. It's a weak one, but it's pretty big if that is something you follow.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. That's really all I've got. So I'm pumped to see what the last good, bad, and ugly while I'm in the Caribbean. What do you got?
All right, so let's start with the good. I think, as much as Hope Solo doesn't like it, the settlement that the U.S. women's national team got, the $24 million.
I don't like it either.
You don't like it either? I actually think
1/3 of what they asked for.
Won anything. Okay, why don't you like it?
No, because it's just 1/3 of what they asked for. So it seems like a go away money to me.
I mean, everything's always go away money.
True.
But the fact is they were going to be given nothing.
That's also true.
And the fact that they.
What was Hope's take on it? The same as mine, or was it something else?
I didn't read past the headline. It didn't matter. They were like, Hope Solo gets $5 million, and she complained why she didn't get $9. So
Hope's getting money too?
I have no idea.
Okay.
There are just certain times you see someone's upset, and I could go look, but I didn't. I'll be honest. But I just like the fact that they actually got something, because they had a huge defeat back in April of 2020. Mm-hmm. They were basically thrown out of court.
But wasn't that their own damn fault for not betting on themselves?
To a certain extent, yes. My point is the fact that they ended up getting anything out of something that they could have had nothing as of
Okay, so that's your good.
Months ago.
Okay. Yeah,
and they didn't get the $67 million that they wanted originally. I think the fact that at least got the 24 out of what could have been a disaster is a pretty good outcome for them.
Okay.
And it's a step in the right direction in terms of, let's be honest, America's women's soccer team comparatively is significantly better than America's men's soccer team.
Right. And just to make sure that for anyone saying, well, yeah, they couldn't beat a 14-year-old group in Dallas, that's not the point. The point is that they draw, and that 14-year-old group in Dallas isn't selling any tickets for anybody.
True. That is true. So,
which is why I always say that about women's tennis. I don't care that Serena Williams couldn't beat 200 men. Serena Williams will outsell 198 of the top 200. Maybe.
Yeah. She would outsell the number one guy in the world right now.
Who's number one right now? Is that Nadal, or is that
No, Djokovic just got passed by Medvedev from Russia.
Oh, then for sure.
Yeah.
And Serena's not even, I don't think she's even top 10 right now. But yeah, I mean,
doesn't matter.
It's all about what asses you put in the seats.
100%.
Like sorry. So it's not always skill. But anyway, let's
the bad, John Howard's temper. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Just one other good thing before I go anywhere. He played tonight, so I wasn't sure. I don't want to say anything until it officially happened. But Zdeno Chara broke Chelios's game played record tonight officially.
Well, it's a good thing he actually did something. Has he actually been even alive this whole season? This has got to be the last year.
Not that well. His team hasn't been alive, so who knows?
Yeah, because I love Zdeno. I loved him from day one as a Senator. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, no, that's good.
I think he's now the only professional athlete in the four major sports older than me still playing now that Brady is retired. So,
I can't say that about anybody. Is Jamie Moore still playing? No, damn it. Oh, anyway, move on.
yeah, Juwan Howard he got suspended. I actually am not going to blame Howard for this. The whole situation, both sides were being babies.
Mhm.
Howard, first of all, didn't really throw a punch, pushed the guy from across a group of people. The whole situation should never have happened. The fact that the Wisconsin coach, Howard was just going to shake his hand and walk by it. And the Wisconsin coach stopped it. And like this whole thing was escalated by him. And then the Wisconsin coach, like a baby, walked away and let his assistant take everything.
Mhm.
Like there are no winners in this. I'm glad he only got suspended for the 5 games. But the thing, Howard, this is not the first time he's done this. As a coach, I understand being fiery and everything, but come on, dude.
You know, there's this thing, and I've certainly been guilty of this myself. When you feel like you're disrespected in that heat of the moment, you lose perspective. I've never, though, been on that stage, and that's really hard for me to ask of Juwan to do something that I don't know that I could do, and I know that I failed at on at least 2 occasions I can think of. Michigan's not going to make the tournament though this year unless they win the Big Ten, right?
I don't think so.
I think
honest, I've been out a little bit on college basketball this year, so I'm not as up.
I honestly, I wouldn't have known until that story came up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think like a lot of us, college basketball is fun for like 2 weeks of the year.
Right.
Not that we disrespect it, but that's the reality. There's just so much other things to follow. Yeah, it's a bad look for everyone involved, but Juwan's the only name. So he's
100%. Yeah, he's the biggest name by far.
Yeah, and so he's going to get the brunt of that. I don't know whether that's going to cost him his job or not. I can't even say whether it should or shouldn't, because I know Michigan's not doing that well. I don't know enough to say any further than this, other than you've been in the spotlight for nearly 30 years, maybe longer. You know better. And you know what's going to happen. And as much as you just don't want to lose some pride, sometimes you have to. Because if you would have sucked something up, nobody would be talking about this right now. Nobody would be talking about you at this point. And it's rough. I agree with you from sentence 1. There is not a single winner in this.
No.
Yeah.
It's just dumb all around.
Yeah.
But like, if this were like the first time this had happened, because he had the issue with the Maryland game last year too. Like if this was the first time, then fine. Or if it had been like even like a few years between situations, okay. But he just did this like less than 365 days ago. Like, come on, just stop. Right. The days of Earl Weaver are long gone. So
wow. There's a name, huh?
Yeah, he's still alive, man.
Really?
I think so. Hold on. Earl Weaver. I looked that up at one point. Oh no, I lied. No, he passed away. Who was I think is still alive?
I was gonna say ask your wife. She knows Oriole.
Yes.
Oriole Orange. Yeah.
Who is it who's still alive? Who I thought was still alive? Yeah, Whitey Herzog.
Yeah. I was wondering if it was gonna be Dennis Weaver. Hey, did I ever tell you about the time? No, I got a story. This is a true story.
No, I just like, hey, I found a I needed a segue, so I created my own.
Yeah. True story. So it was a time where Dennis Weaver and Mick Jagger were at the Playboy Mansion together.
Okay.
Never tell you about that?
No.
Yeah, so they meet each other for the first time, and like Mick Jagger's like, oh, you're Dennis Weaver. Oh, you're McLeod. You're McLeod. They're meeting. Mick Jagger was a big fan of McLeod. I don't know if you knew that. Anyway, so they're all drinking a bunch, and then Mick's got to take a piss. So he goes to the bathroom, and there's Hugh Hefner, but he's butt fucking Dennis Weaver. And it's just like, and again, so Mick just goes, hey, Hugh, get off of Mick, Cloud.
I was wondering where this was going, and I'm sad that I let it continue.
You think as a co-host, you could have stopped me.
Oh, wow.
My favorite joke of all time. I can't believe after all this time, I've never told it to you.
No, you have never told me that joke. You've told me many jokes to make me laugh, but unfortunately, no pun intended.
Many jokes to make you laugh, but this was not one of them.
This is not one of them. So, speaking of things that don't make me laugh, the ugly.
Okay. Soccer?
No, baseball.
Oh, wow.
Again, I can't stop. First of all, there are two parts to the ugly. First of all, the AP writer whose headline was Max Scherzer arrives in a Porsche to the meetings.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, first of all, what did the owners arrive in?
Exactly.
Like, anyway, literally one of the guys took off from a private airfield right next to where they're negotiating.
This just in, millionaire drives fancy car. And
yeah, I know. It was like the New York Post a couple of weeks ago had a big scandal story and how Snoop was smoking pot right before he went on stage for the Super Bowl.
And
yeah, it is exactly. It was like Snoop Dogg smokes pot before, and you could fill in any blank at the end, and there's nothing you'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like Kirk got drunk watching Super Bowl. And
yeah, exactly. Anyway, so that was the first one, but I really don't think Major League Baseball wants to play any games. And here's
not the MLB. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So all you need to know is that their first negotiator is Dick Monfort.
I'm not that familiar with him, or am I?
He's the owner of the Rockies, who is constantly selling his best players because he can't afford them.
Enough said.
It's basically like going into a negotiation with like the assistant to the regional manager. Was that the assistant regional manager? It's the assistant to the regional manager from
Dwight Schrute. Yeah.
Dwight Schrute.
Yeah.
Like it's sending that person in to do the negotiating. Dick Monfort is a cheap freaking bastard, right? Most of the stories here, like if you type in Dick Monfort's name right now, the top story is, will Dick Monfort ever sell this team?
That's all you need to know. And there's something to it.
And their negotiation tactic that we're going to start canceling games on Monday. If you do this, well, great, go ahead and do that. The players and then don't agree to expand the playoffs. And they lose $100 million off of that. Because the players don't get paid extra for the playoffs. Except for rounds they win. And it's like chicken feed, comparatively.
Yeah.
So what are they negotiating? Like a lot of the stuff they're trying to negotiate that they're off on, like how many teams are going to be in the draft lottery? Like, who cares? Like, just figure this out. They just don't. I've never seen a sport that needed leadership so badly that just picks the worst people to do something. Like, even better than football. Football has terrible people in charge. Yeah, hockey has a lot of terrible people in charge.
Sure.
But I feel like Roger Goodell and Gary Bettman actually, I didn't think Gary Bettman liked hockey. I think he may actually not hate it now.
But I do believe that that as much as we can shit on the NFL and the NHL, we have and we will again. They know what they are.
True.
They're aware of a bunch of stuff, and like you've said it many times, and I've said it. The NFL protects the shield. The NHL, as much as I can't believe I'm saying this, I'll say it again. Gary Bettman has become, since he became a Hall of Famer,
has actually started acting like one. Yeah,
well, to a certain degree. I mean, I
still acting more like one.
Right. But
he's moved off the oh shoot, I forgot what his name is. He was the commissioner of baseball in the 70s who got his ass kicked over and over and over again.
Is that Bowie Kuhn or am I thinking?
Bowie Kuhn.
Okay,
Yeah.
Right. Baseball still thinks that it's in the era of DiMaggio, Mantle, Maris, and all that stuff. Not that I'm just throwing a bunch of Yankees, but I mean, still, I mean, like, that's what they think they are. They think that no matter what happens, they're number one, and they haven't been number one in a long time.
They're not number one.
Mhm.
They're not number two.
No, they're not.
They're not number three right now.
Well, you don't think they're number three? Who you got at
If
number three?
It's tenuous. Honestly, within a decade, with the way things are going,
I
I
don't
don't know.
know this. You're going to say soccer.
I'm going to say soccer. I'm
Yeah.
going to say NASCAR, and I'm going to say maybe even golf.
Okay, but soccer is hard to say that because you can't say that MLS is going to surpass MLB in 10 years because it won't. Soccer is a sport
Right,
as a whole
so-
might.
Yeah, soccer as a whole is definitely going to, but MLB, like, that's because the best soccer league in the world isn't in the US.
Right.
The best baseball league in the world is.
What about the NHL?
No offense to the J League.
Sure. Well, what about the NHL? I mean, the NHL has done a lot. They finally got the expansion going in the South that they've coveted forever. Atlanta will never work for whatever reason. Someone else.
Only city to lose two franchises in the same sport, both to Canada.
Exactly. The NHL is doing, especially now that they're back on ESPN.
Well, that was a big thing for them. Like,
Yeah.
they were on a network that nobody could see.
Once they figure out how to market stars, and they're just one big star away. They're a Tiger Woods of hockey away, something from becoming really, really big. Because if you look at the biggest stars in the NHL, there's certain age in terms of notoriety, or
They're all pretty much older at this point.
right, but that
Like,
could happen.
Crosby and Ovechkin have been huge the whole time, but they're both in their mid to late 30s.
Yeah, but Crosby, as much as I like Crosby doesn't translate.
He's also a whiny bitch. So
There's also that. There's not a lot of character to him. There wasn't that much to Gretzky either, but Gretzky was that much better offensively than anyone else.
yeah, Gretzky was a force of nature. He didn't need to do
Right,
anything.
right.
And that was a time when everybody knew all the goal scorers because there's so many of them. People were just scoring way more points than they do now.
Absolutely. So, I mean, they're one massive transcendent star, whoever that may or may not be. I don't know. I don't know that he exists yet.
If the franchise players they had in Edmonton were on the Rangers,
Ooh.
the problem with their stars is they have the same problem. They had Curry and Robitaille and everybody on and Gretzky and Howe and Lowe and everybody were up in Edmonton.
Well, Robitaille wasn't in Edmonton.
Not Robitaille. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to serve. Who I was thinking of somebody else. I don't
Messier.
know. Messier.
Well, Messier did get to New York.
He did get to New York,
Yeah.
but they forced Gretzky to LA, and and Curry went with him to LA, and that's when things started taking off again because they needed. Then they had Lemieux, who was in Pittsburgh, but that was enough. You know what I mean? So they just need stars someplace else. Although I am very tempted today to say, I don't know if you saw the reports today, but just so you know, never ask a man his salary, a woman his age, or Ovechkin his relationship with Putin. So
What?
oh yeah, he dodged like anything today because he and Putin are buddies.
Oh, are they? I didn't even know that.
Oh, they're buddies, and he was asked by a reporter in Washington about it, and he.
What's he gonna say?
I know. There's nothing he can't say, but it was just funny.
It's sometimes some people are just assholes everywhere, but I don't know them that way. I don't know what to say,
Of course, who knows? So
I'm sure like Brady dodged the Trump question.
True.
And
True.
Again, I'm not trying to say anything
no, that's
political,
true.
but
Yeah, and the Klitschko's are both taking up arms to fight the Russian invaders. So
yeah, but they're going to put Hayden Ped. Crap, what's her last name?
Hayden Panettiere.
Thank you. She's the cheerleader. That's all I know. I can't go beyond any of that.
Anyway, so yeah, so that's
Okay.
what I got for good, bad, and ugly. It's going to be baseball over and over until they figure this damn thing out. Their Monday deadline is just stupid.
Yeah,
It's just
whatever.
stupid. Have a real discussion. So
I think you're right. I mean, I think there's a lot of self-sabotage.
here's a question for I don't know the answer to.
Mhm.
If they cancel games, this will be the third straight season where they won't have a full season.
Oh shit! Yeah. Wait, they didn't have a full season last year.
No, they did 60 games in 2021. They started late last year.
Or did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because they weren't sure what to do. I mean, I don't blame them for 2020 and 2021. That was everybody everywhere. I get it.
Mhm.
But now they have a chance to have a real full season. If they cancel games, at some point their media partners have got to be like, whoa. These contracts.
Mhm. A full season with full stands.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing when you're forcing games when you're not getting any gate revenue. That's not the case anymore.
Well, it is some places. I'm sure Colorado, they're going to have great fans on opening day and you won't see anybody until.
Okay, no, but I
Dodgers
mean,
fans
like,
come in.
it's not like where they're saying, okay, well, COVID says we can only have 10%.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you know, so like, yeah, because some places will never sell out, but I mean, you're right. I mean, what are they doing? They don't. The only answer is that they want this to fail on some level, which is why they're doing it. Oh well.
The USFL is going to pass them.
Go. I don't know any of the teams. Go Birmingham.
Renegades. Sure, that sounds like a team.
Oh, Renegades. The is out. They finally found me. The Renegades. Sorry, I know how much you love Sticks.
No, I intentionally know very little about Sticks.
Yes, I know you
So.
do. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how little when that bombed. And on that bomb, let's promote my shit. Can I promote my shit?
You always do.
When I'm sober.
Go ahead.
Yeah. In addition to the weekly show that Evan and I do, I occasionally do, hey, how the hell did this go #1? And I think Evan's going to be a special guest in a couple weeks.
Sounds good.
Where we've what did we do last time? We did Seasons in the Sun.
That's right.
Yeah, that was miserable. Oh, and then we did Donna Summers, MacArthur Park. We did Cher's Half Breed. I defended Half Breed, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I defended it. I said, like, 473. Nobody knew any better. So why did we expect her to?
Yeah, she also had Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, right?
Well, but she heard it from the people of the town.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. So we talked about that. In 2 weeks from now, we're going to be looking at Bobby Darin's Mac the Knife. We're actually looking at a really good song. So Andrea picked a good one.
Yeah, I have that one of the first CDs that I was ever given. My mom bought me the Billboard charts greatest hits of from like 1956 through 61.
Mm-hmm.
And the #1 song in 1959 overall was Mac.
Yeah. So we're going to look at how a song about pretty much a
murder,
a hit,
it's
murder, a murderous
59
hit.
was all about murder, though. They also had Stagger Lee was that year.
That is something that Andrea also mentioned. So we're sort of going to do a deep dive into the not so innocent song of that.
Yeah.
Chris Bourdain and I still have to edit. I just have come up with a bunch of images for our Beachcombers thing. When I get back to Canada, we're going to look at that 80s show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think the one after.
Will have been the only ones who've ever done so.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. After that, I suggested to him we should look at the Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island.
It's weird that Gilligan's Island ever had guest stars. It seems to defy the purpose.
Well, but this is when this Gilligan's Island became some weird resort or something.
Okay.
Or something strange from what I remember. I
thought that was Fantasy Island.
I don't remember much, but I remember that the head coach of the Globetrotters was Scatman Carruthers
Believable.
for this film. Yeah. So we've got that. Vinny Lospinuso is a regular guest. He makes the Hall of Fame case for a bunch of people you've never heard of. I've never heard of him, but he does a phenomenal job telling you why these obscure candidates have more of a Hall of Fame case than you think. And I think he does a great job. I'm hoping that I'm going to be adding a couple new shows lately. I'm in negotiations, high-level negotiations, Evan Nolan, to get some people aboard.
Cool.
Oh, yes. They're very high-level, top secret.
I don't know about them, so I agree.
I barely know about them, and I'm involved. And with that,
Can I just say one thing?
oh, yes, absolutely.
Also, on our trip up to Minnesota, the real reason we went up there is my daughter is in love with a YouTube channel called Snake Discovery, which is 2.57 million subscribers. And they are a reptile rescue organization up in Maplewood, Minnesota. So we drove up there Friday last week and went to the facility and got to meet Emily and Ed Roberts, who are the people who run it. And they were just as nice as they are on YouTube. And what was amazing, the facility was wonderful. But what was amazing was they had so many little girls who were there and wanted to knew everything about snakes and reptiles and the alligator and everything. She has basically created a generation of girl herpetologists who are just going to go out there and get really involved in this. Like all these girls who were aged like 8 to 12 knew everything about all the animals, how to take care of them, all sorts of stuff. It was kind of amazing. So good on her. She's absolutely wonderful. She's like 6 feet tall and like 135 pounds. She's so tiny. She's tiny and tall at the same time. But they were just absolutely wonderful people. She and Ed signed my daughter bought a notebook. They both signed it for her. And yeah, would recommend if you're ever in Minneapolis and need someplace to go and support and everything, Snake Discovery in Maplewood, highly recommend it. So there you go.
Makes me want to say a special goodbye to my 3 little land turtles who are no longer living with me. They've found a new home. So goodbye to Hurricane, Quarterback, and Rocket. Guess who named them?
The Ishmael families.
Yeah.
No.
There you go. So they will be taken good care of. My 3 little guys. So, or girls. I don't know what they're. I don't know. They didn't like me too much. They bit me twice, bastards. Anyway,
that's how reptiles show love, my friend.
So the Germans would have us believe. And on that lame note, they're not all gems, kids. Stay safe, everyone. Have a great one.
Take care.